In my last review, which was Super Metroid, I gave a little clue about what my next video game review was going to be. And yes, it's The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Now I am sorry that it took a while for this video to come out. I actually played through and beat this game several months ago, but many life things happened, such as Liz and I going on a spiritual journey to our homeland of Portugal and the Azores. Check that video out if you haven't, by the way. Not to mention a brand new Zelda game happened to come out, Tears of the Kingdom. Now, just like Breath of the Wild, this new game has been a real time sink for me. From playing at night, during the day, lunchtime at work, what can I say, the damn thing is addictive. Now, let's come around to Link to the Past. It's a game that is widely regarded as one of the best video games ever made. Hell, when you think of 2D overhead Zelda games, you probably think of this one first. This game also got a spiritual sequel in the form of The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, which was another great game in its own right. After the success of Super Mario World, Shigeru Miyamoto and his crew were looking to do the same thing for the Zelda series, and take the next step. With the upgraded hardware of the Super Nintendo, they had more storage space to work with to create a more expansive world for Link to explore. So without any further ado, here's my review of A Link to the Past. Maybe the best Zelda game ever made? It is a dark and stormy night. A young hero is fast asleep when he has a dream. A young maiden is calling out for help. She says that she's locked in the dungeon of Hyrule Castle, and was put there by the evil wizard Agman. She says her name is Zelda, and as soon as Link wakes up, he sees his uncle getting ready for battle. He tells Link to stay put as he heads out to save Hyrule Castle. Well, I'm sure Link's uncle has got this. Then again, he is middle-aged, overweight, and he forgot his inhaler. Maybe I should go to the castle just to check on him. But I'm sure he's alright.
God damn!
So, after his uncle's part in this adventure has come to an abrupt end, Link takes up his sword and enters the castle. After storming through the dungeon and fending off enemy soldiers, Link makes his way to the cell room. Oh look, it's Zelda! Oh look! It's Zelda! After escorting the princess out of the dungeon, through the sewers, and eventually making it to the sanctuary, you leave her into the care of the priest. She tells you that Agnan is a servant of Ganon, an evil tyrant who tried to use the Triforce of evil. He was defeated and trapped by 7 wise men. If Agnan releases the seal that the wise men placed on him, Ganon will be released, and it's game over for Hyrule. Link's first task is to find the 3 pendants that he can use to release the Master Sword. After that task is done, Link returns to the sanctuary to find that the evil wizard has taken Zelda to the Dark World along with the rest of the 7 maidens. The evil wizard will use them to break the seal. It is up to Link to stop this guy and his master Ganon from destroying Hyrule. The story may seem like your standard fare when it comes to adventure games: rescue the girl, stop the bad guy, save the world, etc., etc. But here it serves its purpose, as this game is a prequel to the previous 2 Zelda titles that appeared on the Nintendo. Also, it is set in an alternate universe of Zelda games. Look, I'm not touching that in this video, okay? The Zelda timeline is not like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, okay? It's not one straight solid line. Every Zelda game is pretty much its own thing, which actually is part of the series' charm. Each game's story has its own merits, and this one is no different. Of course, as later games go on, the storytelling will get more epic, but here it's pretty straightforward. It gets the job done. So if you're looking for a more classic, basic tale of good versus evil, then here you go. As the adventure begins, you can name Link, well, anything you want per usual, and then you're on your way. This game uses a top-down perspective that was employed in the original, since the side-scrolling Zelda 2 was so controversial. It's no surprise that Nintendo wanted to steer clear of that this time around. On the original NES, Link had more stiff movement, but here, he can travel diagonally, which gives him more freedom of movement. He's also so cute the way he runs. Ah, look him go! Now you start off with your basic sword and shield, inherited from your uncle, but the more you go through the game, the more equipment you will get, and you will need them in order to get access to new places. It is also recommended that you get the upgrades for your weaponry. That way you can absorb more damage and dish out more too. Not to mention new abilities like the dash charge. Another helpful item is a certain magic flute. Yes, it's the ocarina. although back then it was just called the flute. You can use it to travel to different spots on the map. Now, the major feature of this game is that there's two worlds to explore. There's Hyrule itself, and the Dark World, which has been corrupted by Ganon. When using the mirror, it plants a spot on the map like a doorway, which you can travel back and forth between the Dark World and the light. For many places, you can only access certain areas from certain worlds. One thing that is really clever is that you'll have to accomplish a certain task in one world in order to make a required change in the other world that you need in order to advance. Now, temples and dungeons are and have been a major part of the Zelda experience. When you enter one, you'll have to use your weapons, tools, and your wits to solve the abundance of puzzles that will be laid out before you. You'll have to get keys to unlock doors, big keys to get access to magic chests that will give you more important items, and of course find the big door. Behind it is a boss. Now, the boss fights in this game I just love. They're great. The designers really got creative here. Each boss looks fantastic and presents their own unique challenge. You have to use your tools to find their weakness and take them down. Now again, when it comes to these puzzles, they present an old school challenge. There will be a lot of backtracking and you'll do some serious head scratching to get through it. So there's no doubt this will lead to some frustrating moments. When you beat a boss, you will be rewarded with a heart container to increase your health, and the Freed Maiden will give you a nice little pep talk. Another helpful tip is to look for the caves where fairies reside in order to restore your health, not to mention pools that will give you rewards and upgrades. When you journey to towns, make sure to talk to the townspeople as they will give you advice and point you in the right way to go, or even sell you items that you can use. Now be wary, the lands are swarming with those loyal to Ganon, and they will respond when you leave the area. Make sure to keep your wits about you and keep an eye open for items that you can pick up, such as hearts and rupees, which are the game's currency. The music in this game is just epic. Nintendo does not muck around when it comes to the audio side of things, and this game is no exception. What I really love about Zelda games is that they feel more than just a regular video game. They feel like an adventure. They are so well constructed. For example, I love that sometimes there's little cracks in walls. When you see them, they'll let you know that if you have a bomb, you can blow that up to unveil a secret room. Then you hear that wonderful little jingle letting you know that you found something. Or the one letting you know that you got something important. See, it's the little things that makes these games worth playing. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was a true trendsetter. Like I mentioned in my Super and Metroid review, it took what came out in the past and upgraded it, and in effect became groundwork for what would come in the future. Do I have to recommend this game? Well, of course I do. Just play it, enjoy the adventure, explore every avenue, and save the day. You'll be glad you did. And that's my review of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, I will be sticking around the Super Nintendo era. And here's a little clue of what's to come.